how to understand yourself and how metaphors can help you move forward. Hello, I'm pointing again. Hello, Will Perry here. Welcome to another daily conversation, keeping the conversation alive. So, how to understand yourself, but also how to express yourself. I find this an interesting one. So I love metaphors. This is about metaphors. I'll take this way. So I love metaphors, and it's a great tool for understanding complex situations that you can't quite understand. What is that in the screen down there? Oh yeah, do you want to see? It's a unicorn! Yes! That's from my girl's birthday. Just wondered what that was on the screen. So, unicorn. That's the answer. So, I hope you're well today. So, let me give you an example of, and they're quite intuitive. We all work in metaphors, but not all of us understand that we work in, i.e. the brains work in metaphors, but and pictures and visualizations. So when we can't quite express it, there's a picture, but accessing that picture can be really, really helpful in terms of understanding where you are, what's holding you back, but also how to move forward. So let me give you an example of that. Quite a few years ago when I worked at the BBC, some people might not know what the BBC is. There we go. When I worked there, we were working with this complex merging situation of huge change project, and these divisional heads were trying to get their head around all sorts of different emotions they had going on, but they were engineers, the ones I'm talking about. They're in the engineering department. It was all quite techy, and they didn't easily express their emotions, and there were all sorts of levels and sort of it was a really complex situation. So I started using metaphors because it was intuitive to me, and I'd seen some different approaches, and it was like, yes, I like that because that works intuitively with me, and I think it can help access what's going on and emotions for people that don't intuitively understand it like I understand it. So I remember asking this one guy, what's that like? And that's a great phrase. I'll tell you a bit more about that, but that's a great phrase in a minute. Sorry, but it's a great phrase for accessing the metaphor. What's it like? Well, it's like rolling a boulder up a hill. That's a metaphor, because have you ever rolled a boulder up a hill? But you intuitively know that it's really tough, especially if that boulder is huge. So that's a metaphor, so something that's not real, but it's anyway. I said, what's blah, 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 what's it like? Oh, it's really difficult. Yeah, what's that like? Oh, it's really, no, I don't like what I want to. Yeah, but what's that like? And he thought for a minute. So when you get the right bit, because you're finally getting it. You might have to ask, what's that like, a few times. So if you're a coach, that's a great question to ask. What's that like? Oh yeah, I don't like. Yeah, what's it like? No. What's that like? No. What's that like? You're asking that question. I know. What's that like? And he said, okay, I think I get what I understand what you're getting at. It's like, okay. He said, it's like being in a jungle with giant mosquitoes attacking me, and I'm running out of the mosquito repellent. And suddenly it's like, oh, wow. Now, of course, the thing isn't to go, right, what you need to do is swap the mosquito. It's not you working with his metaphor or their metaphor. It's you helping them access their metaphor. So, the question for me was, what are the mosquitoes in your metaphor? What are the mosquitoes? And it was like, he was clear what the mosquitoes were that were attacking him, the giant mosquitoes. And it's like, okay, what is the aerosol? And the aerosol was him and his resourcefulness, and that was running out, and his kind of contextual power and the authority that he had. So that was like, oh, okay. And what will happen when it runs out? And he was clear on what would happen when it runs out, because he knew it's depleting. It's almost run out, and these giant metals, giant mosquitoes are coming from him. But it's like, oh, it's interesting. He was clear about what was going to happen. It was inevitable. So what would he like to have happen? It was like, okay. So then he was thinking, then what would he like to have happen? And what could he do instead of when this runs out? What could he do instead? So he then came up with his own resourcefulness and answers to the question, and it was quite wonderful to experience, but just by asking questions and working with only his metaphor, not by going, well, clearly you need to get rid of them. Clearly you could do that. You could put barriers up. You could do that. Instead of answering from our own intuition, which might serve us well, but it doesn't serve the client when you're asking these specific questions of metaphors. It was really nice to be able to see that coming forward from him. And after that really quick, session, he was like, right, I know, he had a little plan of action for himself. Now that's an example of why I feel metaphors are so powerful. So they can help you understand a situation better, help you understand your emotions better, help you understand all the different factors, external and internal, that are working towards a situation that sometimes might overwhelm you, if that makes sense. It's a bit like ... you'll know. So it's a really powerful tool. So my question to you, what am I doing on time? Oh yeah, nice quick one. I'm whizzing through this one. So my question to you is to do the same. Where you are now. Maybe you're on a good place. Maybe you're on a bad place. Maybe you're on a difficult place. Maybe wherever you are right now. Is answer the question, what's it like? Where you are or where you struggle. What's that like? Oh, it's all right. No, what's that like? It's not too bad. No, what's it like? Hey, compared to others I've done. No, what's it like? And what's that like? And what's that like? When you get bored of asking yourself enough questions, or the client gets bored enough times, they go, oh, it's like, and then they start working with it. You can see the cogs going. It's like, and they've got to come up with a metaphor, and the really good way, the guaranteed way to make this work is to draw it. Now, I like drawing and doodling because I went to art school. I'm creative. I can express myself easily using pen and paper. But I've done this in corporate settings so many times. People do. People like having a scribble, and stuff comes to you when you start scribbling because you're accessing the creative aspect. What's it like without putting words in? Can I use words? No. No. Well, that's me, and it's stick people. It's sticks, stick men, stick. I can draw quite well actually, but it's not about your skill of drawing. It's about how to convey, just getting it down that metaphor onto paper. So it's about stick people and suns with circles and ding 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 and clouds that go like that and dot dot dot. It's really really visual. So if you want to access that for yourself, and I invite you to, then scribble it down on a bit of pen and a bit of paper, or an iPad with a pen, whatever you've got, and just don't use words. Avoid using words. Draw it. Share it with somebody, share it with me. That's my invitation to you. Do a picture of what your situation is like, and then clarify for yourself what are the different elements. You often got people with like a brick wall, and then or a mountain to climb, and they're at the bottom. It's like, oh, okay, what's the mountain? Okay, what do you want to have happen? What do you so what do you want to what are the different elements? What do you want to have happen? What's stopping you? What happens if you don't? And what could you do to move forward? Just ask yourself those questions on your bit of paper, and then share the results with me, and share the picture if you be so bold. If you're so bold, I'd love that. It's what I do on the program, and I always love that aspect. It's a really nice tool to be able to access what's going on and get clarity and move forward. So I hope that's interesting to you. I hope that's useful. Nice start to the day, to the week. Sorry, being Monday. Or if you're watching this on a different day, I hope that's a useful thing for you, and that you do it. And I'd love to, take a picture of it and share it with me. That would be awesome. So thank you very much. Do share this stuff. Do share, comment, subscribe, like. Get this stuff out, because it's intentionally relatively short, 15 minutes. No, 9 minutes, 15 seconds, 17 seconds, 19 seconds, 20 seconds. So intentionally relatively short, to be able to then keep this stuff alive, because if we don't, then it just goes and we just get comfortable and we just stay the same. So this is about leveraging your mind to get better results in your life. And why don't we want that? That's a good thing. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great rest of the day. All right. Bye-bye.